captain, or any hero as a captain even. But I would highly expect the Grace to come out here.
All right, well, Blackfeather is going to be the first lock-in. This has been an incredibly high priority pick coming through for Europe in general. We'll see how that's going to pan out for Dynasty in this one.
And they can flex that. BT Lamb plays it very well in the lane, as well as Rico Meza plays it very well in the jungle. So it's a flex pick for them. I think it's smart just because it denies a few picks from Mousesports, like the Celeste, as we've mentioned before. And at the same time, as I said, it's a flex pick. Grace comes through for Mousesports. Strong roamer. They just picked it. They just won with it. So it's a little dangerous to give it over again when a player is feeling very confident on a hero. You want to take him off of that hero rather than give it back to him. So Justman is gonna get Grace again unless they flex it to the jungle, which I don't expect. The Celeste ban just because they can't pick it against the Blackfeather and they don't want to go up against it alongside the Blackfeather. It's a very dangerous duo that you could go up against. So Mousesports so far smart with their draft.
It's almost like the Catherine Batiste situation where if one of those heroes goes through, you have to ban away the second one. You can't let one team get both the Batiste and the Celeste. So smart ban from Mousesports, just knowing the meta, understanding what is incredibly strong right now, and ensuring that combo doesn't go over.
All right, we'll see what the ban is going to be for Dynasty here. It's going to be a Rhyme banned away. So obviously they already have that Blackfeather, potentially looking for another melee to come on into this composition. And Mousesports, I mean, what do you do if you're Mouse now with a Rhyme in the second ban? That's not something you're going to have been expecting.
I mean, the Rhyme just means that Dynasty wants to go for a melee-heavy comp. I've noticed that CP Idris has made it so far. So if Mousesports don't pick it up here, it's very possible that Dynasty pick it up. Even though CP Idris is a ranged hero, he still is, he has short range, so he has to stick close to the team fight. So Rhyme is a good ban because they already have the Blackfeather locked in. It's most likely going to be a roamer that's melee, so I like the ban. Glaive comes through from Mousesports. I think they picked it because they thought Dynasty wanted to pick it by banning Rhyme, so they're trying to deny it preemptively. It works good with Grace already because you can flex it into the lane, you can flex it into the jungle, so it doesn't take away too much from Mousesports.
Yeah, not only is it just thinking that maybe they wanted it, but PT Lamb we saw last season on the lane Glaive was phenomenal. So definitely, I feel like that's just a counter pick to Dynasty in general, not to necessarily to what Dynasty wanted to do, but just to what they know are Dynasty's strengths. And there's going to be a Samuel coming out, so this will be a lane Blackfeather. I really like the fact that they're putting PT Lamb back on one of these melee laners. That's where his strengths seem to lie most. But this composition it's going to be a weird one because it doesn't really synergize with itself all that much.
Yeah, Blackfeather is going to want to go in on a carry that's on the backline, and Lance will want to engage too. Samuel will try to follow up with his damage, but the biggest problem is that Samuel's damage is not selective. He can't get it on the target he wants. It's mostly just blocked by the frontline characters that are in front of him. So for example, if Blackfeather is going to try to dive on Scarf, he's going to be able to get there. Lance is going to help, but Samuel is not going to be able to help too much because his damage is most likely will be blocked by Grace or Glaive.
It's also directional damage, as you were talking about, which means a Grace, the Holy Shield, is a directional Holy Shield. If she uses that onto Samuel, whoever he targets is going to be taking 40% reduced damage, regardless of where in the fight he's able to get to. So a very interesting pickup for me. I'm not sure I agree 100% with Samuel into this composition, especially when Glaive is already there too, who can knock Samuel out of Drifting Dark so efficiently.
Honestly, one of the strangest things to me is just the ban on Rhyme into picking a ranged jungler.
I think they may have been looking for the Glaive.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that one was in the end, but it's time to get on into this game. It's time to jump into Game 2, see if Dynasty can come back in this series. Let us know who you're supporting using that hashtag Vainglory8. But it's time to pass it over once again to Dowsy and Denomine.
Thank you very much, Munchables. Dynasty versus Mouse 1-0 to the boys in red. On the red side of the map as well. We'll have to find out whether or not Dynasty can fight in their revenge arc, or else it's just a 2-0 to Mouse.
Yeah, Mouse was looking really good in that first game. Again, we talked about how good of a pickup Tricky was for this lineup. And then obviously Justman and I'm the Doom, no strangers to the competitive scene here in Europe. Definitely really good players. I'm the Doom, a pretty renowned Scarf as well. Tricky's doing to those weapon laners that he's oh so good at. But, you know, it's going to be a little interesting. You know, it's going to come down to Riku Meza trying to find some good damage onto I'm the Doom, which with a Glaive and a Grace in the front line will not be easy to do.
No, definitely not. Especially with the damage reduction that they can apply to I'm the Doom. Keep him nice and healthy in case PT Lamb does get on top of him here. And that's something that it's probably worth highlighting, Denomine. Tricky does not play CP laners competitively. We've not seen him do it yet. Kind of known for his weapon power laners. So Mouse, they've shown that they have this very unique ability to draft compositions that we just haven't seen yet, and it's working for them. But potentially that's something that Mouse could be diving into, but they're actually being throttled because of this almost lack of CP laners that Tricky can pull out here.
Yeah, it's definitely something that Tricky should work on going forward. Will we get a steal here on this Elder Triad, though? Drifting Dark's down, Dowsy.
They may just look for the kill, potentially, but Justman's doing a fantastic job of making sure Riku Meza can't stay in his Drifting Dark. Doesn't matter, it does go over to the side of Dynasty. Justman being chased, I'm the Doom, Riku Meza trying to find the kill. Fights on all ends, but Tricky's trying to get in, looking for an afterburn over the wall. Justman will go down, First Blood goes over to the side of Dynasty. Second as well, Riku Meza picks up the Scarf and just leaves Tricky to try and secure this camp. Able to get it, will piece on out with the afterburn. Escape. 2 kills to Dynasty. What a fantastic start.
Yeah, definitely a good start for them off the back of that last game. However, I do believe they picked up the First Blood last game as well, and it did not end up working out well for them. So we'll have to see. Obviously, the Glaive isn't quite the hyper carry that the Vox is for Tricky. So it'll be interesting to see what they're able to capitalize on here. I think Glaive handles pretty well into both Samuel and Blackleather through most parts of the game. I'm the Doom on this Scarf can definitely be a huge advantage with the Spitfires being able to ramp up the Broken Myth stack. So we'll just have to see, but is Riku Meza looking to make maybe another aggressive rotation here?
Yeah, right now, in this early game, Riku Meza and Mowgli have so much power. They're looking to try and abuse that against I'm the Doom and Justman. Not quite able to find the tree, it does go over to I'm the Doom. Drifting Dark. Not quite followed up by Riku Meza, so Dynasty going to fall back here. They've got themselves a slight gold lead just through to some of the CS and the kills that they have here, but it's nothing huge just yet. Really going to have to convert it into a much more tangible lead if they want to take over this game.
Yeah, it's definitely an opportunity for them, though, because Samuel will take some time to scale up, so the fact that he was able to get a kill as well as steal away that Elder Treant is definitely huge for the side of Dynasty. PT Lamb looking to work into the Sorrow Blade for his first item, looking for that raw damage. Obviously, will give the additional % of health execute going that weapon route. So that can be a huge benefit for this team. If Riku Meza is able to get some good damage down and PT Lamb's able to follow it up with an execute, that would be the most ideal situation. But then it's going to be very difficult with I'm the Doom throwing out these Spitfires and Goops.
Artillery from afar really tests the Samuel. A Goop pushing him away from his Drifting Dark. The Grace clearly can do the same, as can the Glaive. Riku Meza is a fantastic Samuel, though, and Samuel's a hero that we've kind of seen not prioritized on 2.8, but slowly, surely seeming to creep back into the meta. Really excited to see him back on the meta, but whether or not it's a win for Dynasty with the Samuel is still to be unanswered.
Yeah, it is to be unanswered, but I think Riku Meza overall, as he came onto this roster, I think a lot of people may have had some questions at first, but I think he really made a outstanding performance last season. So overall, I think Riku Meza should be able to handle this pretty well on the Samuel. He has that Frostburn completed as well as level 6, so Oblivion is online as they now rotate up and try to find some damage on Tricky.
Certainly do. Tricky, afterburn's away. I'm the Doom. Throws out that Goop, and Justman's putting a lot of pressure down, but here comes the Drifting Dark. Riku Meza with the Frostburn can slow. Justman the main target. The Malice and Verdicts finding a little bit of damage, but not enough really at this point. Dynasty do have Fountain, as does Justman. The range coming out of the Scarf really holding them back, and Riku Meza struggling to heal at the regen his energy quick enough to have super impact He's going to get afterburned away, but Tricky maybe overcommits. Great knock on to Justman, sleeps him. Mowgli now in a goop. Will have to pop his fountain. Fountain's popped on both sides. Now struggling under this artillery fire coming out of Rikomeza. He still has the healing flask if he wants the energy. The Drifting Dark coming up in 5 seconds. An Impale connects. Tricky dead. It's another kill, and Justman may just go down as well. Mowgli able to escape the turret. It's just going to be one for now. Dynasty going to push this back into the turret, try and make Tricky lose out on some CS.
Yeah, and that's the best option for them. They might even actually have enough damage to take it, as I'm the Doom is very low on both health and energy, so 3 kills and first turret going over to the side of Dynasty. This is a really good start for them. We do also have to make note that Rikumeza's power spike does come quite a substantial time earlier, and the Scarf, who really needs to get to that 3rd offensive item before he's really able to, be that hyper carry. And he's actually going with the Shatter Glass first, Dowsy, so that's a little interesting to me. Opting out of that utility for more raw damage. I think this has its ups and downs, but with Blackfeather wanting to get onto that backline, I think the slow is definitely something that you want to have.
Yeah, Frostburn onto Blackfeather is very difficult to make use of. You can understand maybe going Shadow Glass, but Tricky here taking so much a poke. That's the advantage right there. A single Spitfiring group gonna shred your health. I would have more thought that the Frostburn is more useful into Rikomeza, if anything, but I don't know. I'm the Doom loves his Shadow Glass. That's for sure.
He absolutely does. He absolutely does. And, it actually will work pretty well into Rikomeza if, Glaive is able to come in, get an afterburn, and put Rikomeza on the front line. Crystal Sentry started up, and they're taking a lot of damage, Dowsy.
Yeah, not enough. Mowgli able to escape. I'm the Doom places the group under the Crystal Sentry. Thought he was helping Dynasty there. Of course, he can't damage his own. 3-0. 3,000 or 2,000 gold lead for Dynasty at this point, and a lot of early game aggression coming out of them. Mowgli able to disengage. Spitfire group does connect to PT Lamb. Gonna have to get some shielding online. Dynasty, do they really want the fight is the question. Already chunked PT Lamb down to half. I don't think they do.
No, I definitely don't think you look for a fight at this point. I think specifically I'm the Doom who needs to get a couple more items before he's horribly useful, but the gold mine has started up right in front of Mowgli.
Ooh, this lands, he's just able to
interesting
disengage
call.
it by himself.
Yeah, well, I think the fear as Mowgli was there, they had vision, the gold mine was still very healthy, so it would have given time for the lamp over, but that just results in now Dynasty starting it up. It is down to half. Drifting Dark is used. Will they be able to secure this?
Goes out, doesn't put anyone to sleep. It looks like it's going to get stolen. No, secured by PT Lamb, but here comes the Dragon's Breath. Fountain going to be used to keep everyone on Dynasty alive. The Spitfire doesn't connect this time. With no Frostburn, no one is getting slowed by that Dragon's Breath. Mouse can't chase up, and Dynasty going to escape with even more gold in their pockets.
Yeah, raw damage does not help you if you do not stay in range to get that damage down, and that's really what we saw in that last fight is, if there was a Frostburn, they might have been able to hold somebody up just enough to get a kill, but they were unfortunately unable to, and now with the rotation up from Dynasty, they're not going to be able to get any damage down on this turret either. Drifting Dark is down, looking to help clear out this wave. Overall, we do have the Poison Shiv now on PT Lamb, so he does offer some additional utility to the team. He will provide some additional sustain to himself, as well as reduce some of the healing from both the Fountain and the Divine Interventions coming out of Justman. The Poison Shiv is also complete for Tricky as well. Maybe not quite as effective, or at least gold effective, as PT Lamb's Poison Shiv, because there's no additional healing for the most part that comes out of the side of Dynasty, but we'll just have to see what comes out here as Lance is coming in for an Impale.
Yep, Gifting Wall will connect. That goop, very scary, cannot cross it. Dynasty in lead and in control of the momentum. Mouse playing a careful game, walking on eggshells. Dynasty making these aggressive moves. The Crystal Sentry once more going to be the focus of them. I'm the Doom with Tricky going to start moving down. that Crystal Sentry is already dead. Tricky finds a good afterburn, but the Dragon's Breath really doing nothing at this point, and the Mouse Verdict doing so much work. PT Lamb on top of Tricky, trying to find the kill. Divine Intervention keeps him alive, but he may go down nonetheless. There's a stun on time, the Doom in the background, and Tricky will go down to PT Lamb. Currently Justman trying to escape, and I'm the Doom trying to provide assistance from the wall, but it just does nothing. It's a double for PT Lamb. I'm the Doom, last man standing, gonna have his jungle stolen by Riku Meza. Holy moly, Dynasty completely in control.
Yeah, Dynasty really taking control, and as we get into that replay, we see that the Crystal Sentry was obviously dropped before Mouse could even react. Dragon's Breath is wound up, but it is forced back by the Oblivion, and just like that, that entire ultimate has gone to waste. An intervention comes through on Tricky, but it's not quite enough. As PT Lamb comes in, finds one kill, and is able to easily find a second kill on Grace once the glaive is down. So overall, a good trade out there for Dynasty. That execute damage coming in through strong from PT Lamb.
Man, right now, I'm the Doom has just sauce, no ketchup denominate. You need that ketchup sometimes, the frost burns slow. But he's gone for just raw sauce, raw damage, and it's just not working out. I'm down with the kids denominate. I know dank memes when I see them. Currently, Dynasty, the dankest of them all. 6,000 gold in the lead, just about. Currently, not really an opening for Mouse to get back into this game.
Yeah, not a huge opening. Their one window will come when I'm the Doom gets the Broken Myth and the Eve of Harvest online. It'd be interesting to see if he goes into the 4 offensive item as a jungle scarf. Obviously, there's not as much gold in the jungle, which can make that a pretty difficult feat to pull off. We're 12 minutes into the game with only 1 tier 3 for I'm the Doom. He almost has the gold in his pocket to get that Broken Myth. Not quite there yet. So he will take the opportunity to recall now and you know, look to get some shopping done. Obviously, again, not quite enough gold yet.
Ticking away.
Time wasted sitting here waiting. Yeah,
there it is.
He does have it now, so that is key. But you know, that was a lot of time recalled where he is losing out now on potential jungle, potential ambient lane farm. But that will help them out in the next fight if Scarf is able to get some good poke down before it initiates. And there's already a Spitfire onto Mowgli.
Yes, certainly is. 1 stack, but a Crystal Sentry started up. 2 stacks, and there's that minion candy on Justman. Not quite finding enough. PT Lamb's going to get knocked back. Oblivion, though, puts I'm the Doom asleep. Tricky isolated. And Rikameza, 6 Broken Myth stacks, scaring Mouse backwards. A steal, almost, you could say, in the jungle for Dynasty. That Crystal Sentry is eliminated.
Yeah, Crystal Sentry being eliminated at 13 minutes is huge for the side of Dynasty. Again, they've done their homework. They've done the job of pushing in the enemy's objectives every opportunity they get. They are only up 1 turret right now, but as you mentioned, that Crystal Sentry completely dead all 3 lives. They have some gold mines under their belt to accommodate this 5,000 gold lead they have right now. Frostburn and Broken Myth available for Riku Meza. Scatterglass and Broken Myth available for I'm the Doom. I think the utility coming out of Riku Meza just helps them so much. Will we see a good engage come out here, though?
Turret does go down, but what are they going to lose for is the question. PT Lamb onto Tricky, but oh my gosh, the damage on Tricky Lamb's huge. They're looking to turn the fight. Divine Intervention will come through. I'm the Doom stacking up. Dragon's Breath comes out. He blocks the Oblivion, but he gets impaled. And Rikameza wants to make quick work of this scarf. A double kill to PT Lamb's Black Feather. 7-0 to Dynasty, and they're going to move into the lane to take this tier 2.
Yeah, they absolutely are, and they should be able to. They have the damage, they have the minion wave to do so, and with Justman alive, there's just nothing the side of the Mouse can do here. 7-0 lead for them right now. They're still up 1 turret, as well as up a pretty sizable amount of gold, working on a 7,000 gold lead in their favor as Riku Meza is getting closer and closer to that Eve of Harvest. And the Doom is struggling to keep up at this point. He's only down 10 CS, but he's down a lot more in gold thanks to the objective pushing that has come out of the rotations of Dynasty. PT Lamb 6-0 right now as the Kraken spawns. Breaking Point is complete, Aegis is complete, and the Metal Jacket is ready to go for him. Blackfeather is at a very scary point in his build.
Oh, certainly is. All he has to do is upgrade his boots, and he's sitting only 200 gold away from being able to do that as well, if he wanted to go for the journeys, that is. Scary thought for Mouse. They have crumbled here in game 2. I can hear those typewriters clickety-clacking at the moment, Denomine and Mowgli powering up on the backside as well. The Kraken, she's spawned. Looks like Dynasty are going to start it up and force Mouse to come to them.
Yeah, absolutely a good opportunity because they've been winning the fights so demandingly. With the health they have, here we go.
It's going to be tricky engaging, but can he escape? Look at the damage coming out of this. Samuel, oh my goodness, the Oblivion puts the Scarf to sleep, and that's going to be PT Lamb picking up one, Rickameza a second. Justman will shut down the Black Feather, get the first point on the board for the side of Mouse, but he will just meet his demise at the hands of a Samuel. An ace comes through for Dynasty, a Kraken to be taken.
A Kraken to be taken, as well as that Ace Wave will likely get a huge chunk of damage down on that turret. Only 9 seconds for I'm the Doom to be back up. So we ended up with a good stun coming through out of Mowgli. It just wasn't quite enough. Tricky was able to find a lot of damage, but was forced out of the fight very early. As you mentioned, the Oblivion stopping the Dragon's Fire. They are able to find a second kill, but it is Justman finding PT Lamb. And overall, a 2-for-1 trade in this 10-to-1 game. Kraken, it's just a second away from being taken now.
Yeah, Rickameza will be able to secure that as PT Lamb rejoins his team. And with 5,000 gold in the lead and a Kraken to march down the lane, the last hurrah for Mouse is now. I'm the Doom has that broken myth with the Shatter Glass, but there is no Eve of Harvest. He's running out of energy in fights. Tricky, 3 damage items, but the defensives against this Samuel are just not there, and he's whittling away to the Malice Inverted combo. And Mowgli on this Lance has been such a carry threat. With the Echo in hand, will be providing so much CC. Mouse gonna struggle to hold on to their space. This choke point turret gonna fall as the Kraken hits it. That's a stun onto Tricky as well. This is where it all starts for Mouse. If they want to turn this game around, it has to be now. But the Rickameza moving on in with his Broken Myth stacking. Mouse going to look for Mowgli here, and Impale does miss. Dragon's Breath will come out. Oblivion gets blocked up this time. Mowgli going to fall. Does he use the Fountain? Yes, he does. Now Dynasty have to run away. PT Lamb wanted to get on top of Tricky, but the Divine Intervention baits them in. PT Lamb should be able to escape. Justman will dive forward. The Kraken finds one turret. Will Tricky go over the wall? He does. Can he find any damage is the question. Rickameza could just kill him here. But he gets the healing camp for himself. This turret should be able to survive to dominate.
Yeah, turret will survive. That is only a very, very hurt turret standing on the Mouse side of the base. They were able to find a kill onto Mowgli, with the gold lead still pretty sizably in the favor of Dynasty at this point, as well as obviously if they're able to find one more fight, they can just push in for the victory. We'll have to see how the positioning works through in this next one. PT Lamb has the gold in pocket to upgrade those boots. Interesting to see if he goes with the Journey boots or the War Treads. I feel like the additional engagement would be very useful for them. There it is. War Treads purchased, has the gold to reinfuse here very, very shortly. Rickameza picking up a new infusion for himself as he steps off the platform. Looking in a really good spot right now for the side of Dynasty, as I'm the Doom does have a level 12 infusion in his pocket, but Justman is sitting on only about half of an infusion and does not have the gold to reinfuse, so that will definitely affect some of the healing he's able to put out with that Divine Intervention. Not level 12 yet either, Dowsy, so a little bit longer cooldown and not quite the Power Punch healing.
Certainly true. Won't have it for this fight either. He's stunned up Echo U's, trying to take away the healing straight up from this Grace. It's going to be Tricky moving on in. There's the Oblivion blocked up once more. PT Lamb onto Tricky and the Dragon's Breath to try and dissuade Dynasty from fighting. I'm the Doom now looking to escape, but a lot of damage does connect. 9 broken myth stacks on this Samuel, and then charging forward. PT Lamb falls though. It's all over. Mouse have lost their damage source, and Rickameza, whilst he has it, doesn't have energy to really continue up. It's about getting Mowgli and Rickameza out. Mouse, I don't think, have the range to chase up, but the Kraken, she's respawned.
Yeah, and with the Kraken on board, that is a huge objective to lose out on now, with PT Lamb down for 20 seconds, and I'm the Doom on Scarf, so good at taking objectives. This is likely going to get started up. And Rikomeza being pretty low on energy himself is an interesting point, because as Tricky is rotating over, if they commit a little too far, they could definitely lose out on more than just a Kraken here. Here we go.
Does engage. Tricky though. Looking for Rikomeza. Kraken at half HP. Justman very low. PT Lamb has respawned but won't be here in time. It's all on Rikomeza, and Mowgli is still this Kraken. They go in for it, but it is secured. Justman almost goes down. Oh, the second Madison verdict hits the Kraken. And Justman will be able to escape here. Mouse backporting instantly. Dynasty gonna have a lot of time on this Kraken to whittle it away.
Yeah, they will have a lot of time, as Justman was forced so low in that last fight. And it is already almost down to half health here, Dowsey, and that's not looking good for the hopes of Mouse. As they rotate up, they do catch out Mowgli though.
Yeah, Mowgli's in a bad position here, but it is drawing the attention of Mouse away from the Kraken, and Mowgli will be able to survive. Kraken almost dead by the time it reaches the turret here. Turret probably will go down. It's going to be an engage coming out of Tricky. It's a lot of damage onto Rikomeza, walking into the Dragon's Breath, falling very low. He will go down. Can they find a return kill is the question. Coming out of the side of Dynasty. This Kraken almost dead, but it's going to be a fantastic Holy Nova into an afterburn, and PT Lamb may lose his life. Mouse suddenly turning this game around. A single turret will be their only reward. It is a bit of a win for them though. Taking control is a place they want to be.
Yeah, and we got to look. The Scarf is at that 3-item spike. We are at that point in the game that Scarf's win rate just substantially jumps up, and he also is working into some defense of his own. So it will be interesting to see how this next fight goes. Obviously, the next fight could be game deciding, as these death timers are getting so incredibly long, Dowsey. Rikomeza about to be up. Looks like he's working into Halcyon chargers of his own. Some additional cooldown for the Drifting Dark and Oblivion would be very helpful for their team. But if they continue to allow I'm the Doom to ramp up in fights the way he has, it is going to be more and more difficult for them to win as the game goes on, as PT Lamb is just getting destroyed when he goes in too far against this Grayson Glaive, who have so much CC, not enough Rose offensive charges to get through safely, and then obviously Scarf with the Spitfires and Goops can really ramp up the damage quickly.
For Mouse currently, I feel like the person keeping him in this game has to be Justman and the Divine Interventions. Keeping either Tricky or I'm the Doom alive when Dynasty hard engaged. Super hard to deal with. So what is the win condition? How do Dynasty shut down this immense amount of healing that Justman's able to output?
They have to force something out early before Scarf is able to build up a lot of stacks, and taking a Spitfire to the face is not how you're going to do that. So if they're able to force anything out of Justman, a Fountain, a Divine Intervention on himself, then it's going to give them an opportunity to follow up on the fight very quickly. The entire side of Dynasty at this point is infused. I'm the Doom is not, and Justman's just ran out, so they should look to find a fight here before they get a chance to shop. But they are going to be close enough to their base that it is going to sway a pursuit from Dynasty. And that's going to give another breath of life here now for the side of Mouse, as here comes Justman. Will they be able to find anything off this?
Yeah, it's going in. Going to look for that Holy Nova onto them. Tricky taking damage. PT Lamb looking to get onto the Scarf, pushing I'm the Doom very far out of the fight. And Mouse truly just disengaging at this point. Broken Myth stacks have reset for Rikomeza, but I'm the Doom sitting on 5. Mouse trying to get into range, but looks like Dynasty have just about got enough distance in between them and Mouse to be able to let those Broken Myth stacks die. The Kraken's respawned as well. That's a Slumbering Husk picked up for Mowgli as his final item here. What do you make of that, Denominator?
I think it's actually really interesting. Now, it does give him a higher amount of health pool, but it is not going to effectively give him any additional use towards the team. And, you know, being the captain against a Glaive and a Scarf, that Slumbering Husk might not get popped very quickly. But PT Lamb now has switched out an item, has picked up the Bone Saw, so that is an absolute huge moment here as we have the armor ramping up for the side of Mouse, and Justman is taking a lot of damage.
Wow, look at the damage onto Justman. The Bone Saw just shredding through him. Divine Intervention will come through. It is going to be this Grace focus down, taken on out. Rikomeza very low, a Spitfire connects. Currently, it's I'm the Doom, though, struggling to escape PT Lamb. Very low, but Tricky's coming back. I don't think he has the energy for an afterburn. He does not. He just has to get in range of Mowgli, find that single auto attack, but he cannot get in range. Holy moly, everyone's so low. Everyone going to backport, it seems, as well.
Yeah, everybody recalling to base. It would look really good for the side of Dynasty there for a minute. They were able to force Justman down very early on in the fight. He did not use any of the healing on his teammates because he was just taking so much of it right up front. Echo didn't even get a chance to get used in that last fight. So overall, this is now a Kraken started up for Dynasty, but is aware Mousesports here ready to go as soon as that Kraken gets dropped low enough. If they can get a steal, it'd be really good for Mouse at this point in the game.
Mowgli doesn't have room for flares. There's a single flare on Rikameza currently to provide vision. So it's a steal coming through for Tricky. Oh my goodness, Mouse! Find the steal into the Kraken, and PT Lamb is in trouble. Oblivion will go out. He manages to escape it. Dragon's Breath ramping up, but PT Lamb's found the kill. Mowgli trying to keep I'm the Doom away. Here comes the Mouse and Verdicts, but they've lost PT Lamb. I'm the Doom dancing around. Spitfire onto Mowgli. Doesn't quite find its target, but if they can get on top of him, then this is dead. Journey Boots purchase for the Scarf. Here comes I'm the Doom to find the kill onto Mowgli, and Mowgli cannot escape. His revenge story running thin as it's just Rikameza left alive. He gets the backport back to base, but 35 seconds, him and a Kraken. And here comes Mouse to try and get Game 2's win.
Yeah, Mouse is in a good spot right now, but as these turrets get destroyed, it will accelerate the death timers. Only 18 seconds left on PT Lamb. So it's going to be very, very risky for Mouse to stay. Oblivion is going to lock Grace up. That is going to help him hold this off as now Mouse is forced out. And it should be Dynasty stopping this Kraken now. I think they might be able to get it down before the turret dies. So that is going to be one turret to one turret for each respectable side. It's going to be very, very close, Dowsy.
This is an insane game 2 here. 27 minutes, 30 seconds on the board. Both these teams sitting just a hair piece away from finding a win here. Dynasty need it. Mouse want it. Who wants it more, I guess, is the question at this point. Mistakes have been made, and this greedy build from Mowgli with no contraption in inventory, there is just literally no vision going to be ever available for Dynasty. Mouse are in the dark at the moment. How they use that dark is important, but here comes the engage from Dynasty, looking to get on top of this Scarf. They're able to get him away. That's the Oblivion going out, missing, and Rikameza taking so much damage on the back line. Pops the Malice and Verdict. Here comes the Drifting Dark as well. The Dragon's Breath disengage. PT Lamb trying to find the kill into Tricky. Tricky gets another heal. Tricky in a 1v1, but it's going to be Tricky going down as Rikameza joins. Justman isolated in the middle of it all as Dynasty try and take him and find the kill. Impale connects. Mowgli wants the kill, but he gets taken on down, and now the Doom has to run from PT and Rikameza. Rikameza charging forward, looking for the kill. This Scarf continuing to run as fast as he can, because if he can buy time, then the game is not over just yet. If he can continue to run, then maybe he saves it all for Mouse. They've got on top of him. He cannot escape. He will fall, and the ace comes through for Dynasty.
Ace comes through for Dynasty, and there is 18 seconds left on Tricky, 20 seconds left on Justman, as this Ace Wave is pushing up under this very hurt turret. If Dynasty plays this correctly, they should be able to end the game, but they need to get in here fast, Dowsy. The turret is down, but Tricky and Justman are now up.
Respawned. This is it. Denominate. Can Dynasty finish the Vein Crystal, or will Tricky and Justman keep it alive? No. Dynasty will take this second game. It's tied 1 apiece, and the revenge story for Mowgli grows ever stronger.
You were calling it on that whole typewriter scenario there. We have Dynasty taking game number 2. You did call it, so now getting into game number 3. We'll see if the Prophet Dowsy can pull it together. Dowsy, getting excited for